Hi class, in lesson 16.3 you will be calculating and interpreting the mean absolute deviation. Learning targets for today, you will calculate the deviations of each data value from the mean of a data set. You will calculate the absolute deviations of each data value from the mean of a data set, and calculate and interpret the mean absolute deviation for a data set. Key terms to look for in lesson 16.3, measures of variation or variability, deviation, absolute deviation, and mean absolute deviation. Please turn to page 1096, problem 1, onto the championship, but who should start? Previously, you examined the points scored by 3 players on the Olive Street Middle School girls basketball team. Suppose the team won the game and will advance to the district championship. Coach Harris needs to choose between Tamika and Lynn as starters for the game. In the past 6 games, Tamika scored 11, 11, 6, 26, 6, and 12 points. In the past 6 games, Lynn scored 15, 12, 13, 10, 9, and 13 points. The dot plots for each player's scoring over the past 6 games played are shown. What does it mean for both players to have the same mean? Does it matter who Coach Harris puts in the game? Based on the dot plots, please answer number 1 with your group members. For number 1, your answers could vary. If you think Coach Harris should choose Lynn, maybe it's because her scores are more consistent. If you think Coach Harris would choose Tamika, maybe it's because she scored 26 points in one game. When you are analyzing a data set, measures of center give you an idea of where the data is centered, or what a typical data value might be. There is another measure that can help you analyze data. Measures of variation describe the spread of the data values. Just as there are several measures of central tendency, there are also several measures of variation. The deviation of a data value indicates how far that data value is from the mean. To calculate the deviation, subtract the mean from the data value. Please turn to page 1097, answer number 2 with your group members, and remember that the mean is 12 for both girls from the dot plots back on page 1096. If we look at Lynn's table for number 2, if the mean is 12 and she scored 15 points, then her deviation is 3 more than the mean. 12 points, 12 is the mean. 13 points, the deviation is 1 more than the mean. 10 points, the deviation is 2 less than the mean. 9 points, the deviation is 3 less than the mean. And 13 points, the deviation is 1 more than the mean. Please answer number 3 and number 4 with your group members. For number 3, a deviation that is less than, more than, or equivalent to the mean tells me each data point's value away from the mean. For number 4, if we look at the deviations for each player, for Tamika, half of Tamika's deviations are less than the mean. So in most of the games, she scored less than 12 points. For Lynn, Lynn's deviations are mostly more than the mean. Only 2 of Lynn's deviations are less than the mean. So in most of the games, she scored more than 12 points. Please turn to page 1098 and answer number 5 with your group members. For number 5, we are going to agree with Carly. Since the mean is a balance point, the values less than the mean need to balance the values that are greater than the mean. The sum of all the distances less than the mean are equivalent to all the distances greater than the mean. Because the mean is the balance point, the sum of data points on either side of the balance point are equivalent to each other. In order to get an idea of the spread of the data values, you can take the absolute value of each deviation and then determine the mean of those absolute values. We are going to stop here. Please watch the short video on absolute value before continuing. The absolute value of each deviation is called the absolute deviation. The mean absolute deviation, or MAD, is the average or mean of the absolute deviations. Please answer number 6 with your group members. For number 6, remembering from the video that the absolute value of a number is its distance from 0 on a number line, here is what Tamika's absolute deviations should look like: 1, 1, 6, 14, 6, and 0. And for Lynn and her absolute deviations, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, and 1. Please turn to page 1099 and answer number 7, 8, and 9 with your group. For number 7, in order to calculate the mean absolute deviation for each player, we are going to add up their absolute deviations and divide by 6. When we do that, Tamika's MAD is going to be 4.6 points, and Lynn's MAD is going to be 1.6 points. For number 8 then, what that means is that Tamika typically scores within 4.6 points away from 12 points in a game. And that means that Lynn typically scores within 1.6 points away from 12 points in a game. And for number 9, Coach Harris should choose Lynn because she is more consistent in scoring close to 12 points in a game. Tamika might score a lot more than 12 points, but she might also score a lot less than 12 points in a game. So Tamika's scoring pattern is not as consistent as Lynn's scoring pattern. This will conclude lesson 16.3 on calculating and interpreting the mean absolute deviation. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.